I solemnly swear that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Yeah, hi everybody. Ron from The Truth About Addiction. Welcome. Today we've got a really, really good guest, a chap that's grown up in the good streets of Balmain and Piermont, turned his life around. Now he's an acclaimed author, which is something really incredible. For guys that like us that had no education, we couldn't even read and write. I couldn't. And now Dean's done an incredible thing with his life, mate. And I'm really happy to have him on. I don't know a lot about Dean, which excites the hell out of me. I know mates that know him, they all talk good about Dean. So on to Dino, brother. You up to you, mate?
Thanks for that, Ron. Yeah, I bought out a book. It took me 12 years to write it. I finally published it in 2019. And when I first done the manuscript in 2007, I wrote it and I looked at it and it was like a dog's breakfast. And I finally found a lady through another guy who's got a self-publishing company at the Byron Bay Writers Festival. I went down there to try and find somebody to give me some help and some support putting it together. And I found this lady by the name of Sue, and I had a coffee with her. I met up with her, and we had a coffee, and I said, I've written this, and I originally I wanted to make it into a movie. I said, but something's telling me it could be a book. I said, do you want to have a look at it? And she said, yeah, by all means. So she took it away. She come back a week later and we caught up and had another coffee. I said, well, what did you think? She said, there's a rough diamond in there. I said, okay. I said, if there's a rough diamond in there, if there's a story in there, you can do something with it. Could you write a book out of it? She said, I don't think you understand my services. I said, well, enlighten me about your services. She said, if I work with you, I will not write this for you. I said, well, what will you do? She said, the only thing I can offer you is teach you how to write. And I looked her square in the eyes and I stayed there for about 10 seconds and I went, I'm a fast learner. So I was excited to go through that process to learn how to write, because leading up to that, I had been enormously successful. I had become a multi-millionaire. I travelled the world. Every dream that I envisaged, created in my heart and soul, I manifested. I was running telemarketing companies. I had a massive property portfolio, and I had some troubles along the way with the regulator, with the ACCC. And they were trying to get orders against me in the Federal Court in New South Wales because I found an angle in their legislation that allowed me to trade a certain way where it generated a hell of a lot of money. And they actually had to close it through Parliament, through state Parliament. And they were filthy on me. And I made millions and millions and millions of dollars out of it. And so in 2007, I'm contemplating my next move in life. And I always had this vision of getting this story that I've experienced into either a movie or a book. And that's what got me started in writing. And it took me 12 years with her support to create that product. It's called King Hit. Yeah, cool. And it's had enormous reviews. I'm really happy at the end result of it.
Yeah, sweet. It makes me smile. I wrote a book myself, and I've still got it sitting there. I haven't taken it anywhere. I wrote it while I was back in prison, and one day.
Well, mate, my advice, move with it, Don't sit on it, man, like you do what you want, but I'm always proactive, Ron, Yep. Anything that happens in my life, it's been through, barreling through, bro. You know, going beyond it, going beyond it, going beyond it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I can remember when Sue wanted me to get it picked up by a publisher, and I said, no, I'll self-publish it. And she said, Dean, the book is so good, it needs to be picked up as a publisher. It needs to be marketed more than your ability. I said, I get that, but something in my heart tells me for me to push it. She said, Dean, you know what's going to happen? I said, enlighten me again, Sue. She said, that book is going to gather dust somewhere on your table and you're going to put it in the drawer and you're going to forget about it. And I said, one day you'll eat those words.
Yeah, good.
Because I love it. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, mate.
Anything, and I take that from me past, mate.
It's really funny.
You know,
I'm laughing.
I take that from my past.
Yeah.
I had that much go in me. I was so fearless and did not give two fucks about what was going to happen to me.
Yep.
All I did, I just moved that energy into this life.
Yeah.
And I realised when I set out on my course of recovery that I wasn't just going to recover and not manage myself where my behaviours got me into situations where my life was really bad and I struggled. I was going to, if I was going to go down this road of recovery, I was going to have a quality of life. I was going to make things work, make things happen exactly how I made it happen looking for heroin.
Yep.
Exactly how I made it happen when I wanted to have fun, when I was crazy.
Yep.
And that was my theory on it, you know.
I know that. I picked that with you, and I've got it written on my notes here. You used the same tenacity as you did for using in legal work.
Exactly.
That's what I've written here in the notes beside me to ask
exactly.
you. And I've already picked that. Just listen to it. As I said, I know of you. I know a little bit about you. I got friends who speak highly of you, and you know, we get through life by knowing people. You know, we're a good judge of people. We're not going to stay alive. You know, we know who to rob, who not to rob. We know where to climb, not where not to climb. We know where to put our finger, not where to put our finger. So I'm exactly the same. I've been successful in recovery, and I've had really, you know, I laugh because our stories are so similar that we've never met each other, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, like we've grown up in the same areas. I travelled the world. I had this incredible life. I've been married fucking 4 times. All that madness, you know?
Sensational.
And, and I live in a beautiful home. I have a beautiful wife and children. I don't want anything. You know yourself when you get to that point in your life and you sit down and you think, and you've got a couple of dollars and you think, what do I want? Because usually I have to spend money to make myself feel better. Nothing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing what I do now.
Yeah.
Because what I want now is to carry a legacy of goodness so that when you Google my name, it doesn't come up 18 years for fucking drug smuggling, shootout with the police. It doesn't come up.
Yeah.
So it comes up, when my grandkids Google my name, it comes up, this guy actually did some fucking good stuff. You know, he did some good stuff. And I will publish my book. We're doing it this year. I'm starting to edit it myself now.
Good on you.
And, you know, we will publish it this year. That's a big deal with me. That's why when I laugh.
Because there's a lot of information in there, Ron, that can help a lot of people, you know.
100%, man.
And I'm not telling you nothing that you don't know, but that information is so valuable that people need it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like what you've been through, you haven't gone through your struggles and your pain and overcome what you've overcome to not give it back. You know, it's paramount that I think we always keep that at the forefront in our recovery. It's so easy going through recovery and falling into struggles and not moving forward in recovery. But the more we can understand in recovery that we're here to give back as much as we can in every aspect, in every bit of information we have, and everything that we've experienced, and everything that we've overcome, and everything that we want to do, the more people will recover from that. So I think it's paramount, and it's our responsibility to do it.
Fuck, you sound like me sometimes. I say to people, with recovery comes a great responsibility. I'm
Huge.
obligated to fucking carry the message. I'm obligated to tell you there's a better way.
You are.
Mate, I've been given a gift. In 1981, I went to a rehab from the Nick. I didn't go to the rehab to get clean. I went there because there was girls there. Because where I just come from, all the girls had dicks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not my go, just quietly.
Oh, you didn't want to touch them.
It's good, no, mate. I don't have to hang onto the horn to ride the horse. You know what I mean? I'm okay. So, you know what I mean? I just wanted, I wanted pussy. That's the truth. That was my motivation to go to rehab. Mate wrote me a letter and he was smart. He got 3 young children to start writing to me. And I'm like, fuck you, I'll get bail to the rehab. And because I'm an escapee, I couldn't get bail. You remember the old days you used to be able to go to Supreme Court every week? You fill in the application, you'd be able to go to Supreme Court for bail every week. Well, on the 7th week, the judge said to me, he said, you've never had a chance in your life. So I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to bail to the rehab, not to report every day. That's where I got the message. I didn't stay clean from that, but I got the message there. And that's where I got the message that the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel.
Mate, you need to read my book.
I'm going to.
Because that story that you're talking about is word for word in the process of what happened to me.
Yep.
And here's another thing. I realised through my recovery, it doesn't matter about the motive why you show up. You just show up. It's like going to AA.
Yep.
You just show up and something will happen to you. Well, it's the same with the recovery. If you can just get into a therapeutic community, or if you can seek help, by you just going there is enough.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what your motives are, because it's not about motives. It's about you going against or your destiny to go there and realise what I'm saying and what you know.
Yeah, mate.
Same deal for me. The reason why I went to that rehab, I didn't go there to change. I had no intention to change it. I thought everybody else was fucking the cunts in life and it was their fault. Why fucking my life was absolutely fucked. And when I got to this rehab, and I went there because of the girls, I was envisaging sitting on banana chairs, getting fucking pina coladas brought to me, going down to the gym, sweating up, jumping in the pool, jumping back on the banana chair. Hey, girls, come on, another drink, some nibblies over here. And that's what I was thinking. What a shock it was when I got there. Oh, my God. I seen the pool that I got told that was there, but there was no girls. There was no waitresses there, you know.
Right. Yeah, we didn't have the pool either. We had a shit pit. Yeah.
You know, because when I was in the road, I just finished 3 years, and I was going back on the remand, and I wasn't keen about going on remand, and I wanted to get ginger ale. So I've gone up to a jail lawyer. As you know, they think they're the smartest fucking people, you know, in the jail, but they're in fucking jail.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, I've gone up to this bloke and I said, listen, mate, I'm just about to go back on the remand. I said, I want to get some ginger ale and get out of here. He said, oh, Dean, just bring me up your criminal history. So the next day, walking over to the mess, we're walking past H-Wing, and I was in J-Wing. You would know that. And in the road, if it was there when you were there.
It wasn't there yet.
Anyway, I gave him the record, and I'm going back up to the mess, and he's called me over, and he said, mate, he's rolling his fucking chin like this. He's going, listen, Blue. He said, I've had a look at this record. I said, yeah. He said, geez, there's a lot of father peas on there. I said, tell me something I don't know. I said, what's your point? He said, you got any money, mate? I said, fucking money? I said, I got 20 cents in my account. He said, have you got any mates? I said, only in here. He said, well, they got no money. I said, that's me point. I said, so what's your point? He said, there's not a court in this land, through my observation of this, that's going to give you bail. I said, get back to fucking work on it.
Yeah.
Fucking don't talk shit to me. He said, Jesus, mate, he's rubbing his chin. He's going, you're making it hard for me. I said, that's your job. You carry on like a fucking solicitor in here. Work hard at it. Anyway, I've gone back to the mess, and the next day he's called me back to the fence. He said, Dean, he said, you're a bit mixed up, aren't you? I said, fucking mixed up. Wake up to your fucking self, mixed up. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you know, you're on drugs. You know, you spent fucking nearly 10 years locked up. You're still only young. I said, yeah, and what's your point? He said, have you ever thought of a rehabilitation centre? I said, don't fucking swear at me.
Yeah, that's only if you stick cunts.
I said, don't you fucking swear at me. He said, come on, Blue. He said, I'm not swearing at you. He said, I'm just being real here, mate. I said, get back to work on it. Anyway, I've gone back. I've gone to the yard. I've gone to the gym. I went for a run. And we just got an ounce of pot in, right? So we're sitting in the yard and I'm pulling fucking cones with my mates, right? And I'm looking around the neck. I looked up to the fucking tower. There's the screw of the gun over his fucking shoulder. I look at the screws sitting out the front of the yard, the old dogs. I'm going, look at these old fucking dogs. I'm looking at all the bars. And I thought, if I got to that rehab, I could run away.
Yep.
And then I thought, there's girls there too. And then I started thinking of the pina colada, the banana chair, the gym. So I've gone back up to the fence, going over while I'm going to the mess. I said, do that bail application. So I got in front of the Supreme Court and the judge, he's looked at me, right, and he's gone, Dean, is it? I said, I think so. And he said, stand up, Dean. And I stood up and he said, you dress well, son. You're looking good. I said, oh, thanks, Your Honour. I said, my mum gave me these clothes. He said, you're looking well. I said, oh, thanks for that, mate. Right? And he's gone, well, nothing else has worked for you, has it?
Yeah.
I said, what do you mean, Your Honour? He said, well, you're nearly a habitual criminal, Dean. I said, how do you arrive at that? He said, well, you haven't spent no more than 12 months in society since you've been 14, have you? I said, yeah. He said, you're ready for the key.
Yes.
I said, the key? I said, I'm only a young fella. He said, well, you're going down that road. He said, I'm going to send you to this rehab and see how you go. I said, thanks for that. And that's how I arrived there.
Yeah.
But in the book, it's the whole process of it, and what happened to me there.
I'll get the book.
But I had no intentions.
I'll get the book today.
I had no intentions of changing anything.
Yeah.
I was going to escape, and I went there for the girls.
And what happened?
Well, mate, what happened, when I got there, it was the worst place I had ever been in my life. The feeling of it was like, fucking, I don't belong here. Fucking these squareheads, they're all fucking conforming, doing the right thing.
All telling on each other.
They were telling them what to do, and they're running around like fucking, following each other, obeying rules. I'm sitting back, fucking hell, the quicker I get out of this joint, the better. And I'm looking around where the keys are, and I'm looking at vans and thinking, fucking keys, cars, transport, out.
Yeah.
I'm casing the joint, I want to go as soon as I got there. And they processed me, and they all knew I was coming, and there was controversy before I got there. And that's another story, and it's in the book. I had a girlfriend there, and that's another story. Anyway, I went down to the villa. And I went to this villa, and they're all fucking cleaning. And it's 7 o'clock at night. And I walked into this villa, and they're fucking cleaning toilets, they're cleaning showers, they're vacuuming. And someone throws me a rag, and I said, what's this? He said, you got to clean the toilets. I threw the rag at him. I said, yeah, clean the toilets. I'm not cleaning the toilets. And by the way, it's 7 o'clock at night. Like, hello, what are you doing this at night? And what are all these people doing it for? Oh, Dean, if you keep going, everybody here's going to get a consequence for your behaviour. Fuck off, mate. Wake up to yourself. Consequence for your behaviour. What's all that about? And there was a girl who I was running around with as a junkie on the streets in Brisbane. She come out of the toilet and she went, Dean. And I went, what are you doing here, Dale? She said, just settle it down, Dean. Well, we'll be here all night, Dean. Please settle it down. I said, what's going on? She said, it's full on, isn't it?
Yeah, right. No idea.
And I've gone, oh, what? I said, yeah. She said, come on, come with me. And she took me into the bathroom and I started working. I said, where's the gym? I said, where's the TV? She said, Dean, you can't watch TV like that in here. I said, what is this place, Kim? She said, it's rehab. I said, yeah, but why all these rules? That's not normal. You can't have a TV. She said, no, there's only TVs in the green room. Anyway, we finished there and go up to the green room. And, mate, from there, it was just confrontation, day in, day out, from 6:30 in the morning, waking up, till 11 o'clock, 7 days a week.
Mm.
Oh, Dean, you're threatening. Dean, you're intimidating. Dean, you're aggressive. Dean, you're a liar. Dean, where do you get off doing this? Dean, where do you get off doing this? Mate, I am nearly exploding within my soul because I just wanted to bash. I wanted to physically hurt bad. And I was thinking, I'll fucking square up on every single one of them. I'll get their fucking names off the electoral rolls and I'll fucking terrorise them. When I get out of here, I'm going to fucking get them all back for what they're saying to me. How dare them talk to me like this? And this went on for probably, I got all consequences every day and I'm laughing with mates and then I'd get consequences for laughing. Like, I just, mate, they gave me no room to move. Within me, no room to move. Everything that I did to try and deal with my inadequacies as a human being, they just cut me off. With consequences or confronted me on it. And, mate, it just absolutely got me to a point where one day I broke down. And when I broke down, I cried for 4 hours.
Yeah. Wow, yeah. Yeah, mate.
And that was it.
Yeah.
I seen everything from that moment.
Yeah,
from
mate.
that point, I absolutely seen I had been so out of line. I had taken no responsibility in my life. I had blamed everybody for every heartache that I had experienced. I blamed the police. I blamed the screws. I blamed people giving me up. I blamed this. I blamed that. I could not cope. I didn't know how to cope as a human being. And all this stuff that I was acting up on was just a weak inadequacy within me that I had had enough of. I was sick to death of institutions. I had lived in them all my life. I was done. And when I was crying, the words just kept coming out of my mouth. I am sick to death of being controlled. I had enough of being controlled. I had enough of going to environments where I had to be restricted. I was done like a dinner, mate. And then I realised, and I slept for over 24 hours, right? Because I was crying so much that in the end there was no tears coming out of my tear ducts. I was hyperventilating.
Mm.
For 2 hours, I hyperventilated. After every bit of tear come out of me, I couldn't go. Somebody go to talk, but it was all this evilness coming out of me, all this filth,
All the
this
suppression.
pain,
All the suppression.
pain. And it was then, the next day when I woke up, I said to one of my peers, he said, "How you feeling, Dean?" I said, "I feel light."
Yeah, nice.
He said, "Oh, okay." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I don't even feel self-conscious." He said, "Okay." He said, "What, light on your feet?" I said, "Yeah, really light, and I feel at peace." He said, "Welcome to vulnerability, Dean." I said, "If this is vulnerability, I'm never going to leave it."
Yeah. Nice.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
If this is what it takes to be a better person, I can handle vulnerability.
Yeah.
As much as you want to give me.
Mm.
Because I had lived a life worse than that.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Yep.
So from that juncture, Ron, that was it. I've run with it. I've run with the recovery, mate. I talked about everything.
Yep.
I owned it.
Yeah.
Completely owned it. Completely owned everything about myself. Admitted everything. Talked about everything. Talked about all my pain. Talked about how much I hated the way I looked. I remember I used to sit in prison in cells, and I'd look up at the ceiling when I was locked up, and I'd go, "Oh, you are so fucking ugly, and how the hell could I ever tell somebody that I think that I'm ugly?"
Yeah.
Because I was so scared because of the environments that I lived in to show any form of vulnerability about any emotional scars
Yeah.
that I was thinking or feeling from my past. I couldn't show that to any human being because I was always worried about what people thought of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And living in those environments, that's a lot of that was survival. You know.
I tell people the only time I felt good in jail was when the door closed.
Yeah.
At night time, 4 o'clock when they shut the. At lunchtime, we used to get locked up over lunch. I'd do push-ups.
Yeah.
Over lunch. So when I came out, I was out in the road. Yeah, mate, you can go over and go to the yard and do some more weights. Have a game of squash, slap every cut up on the squash court. Get me cell and go like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Got through another one. Felt like a fraud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Felt like a fraud. Don't get me wrong. I'd do horrible things to people, and I'd do whatever I had to do to survive.
Yeah.
And I was quite capable. As human beings, we're capable of doing some nasty shit. And I was capable of doing all that shit, but it wasn't me. I love it when you said that. I called that a spiritual awakening. When you broke down that day, that's what I had. I had a spiritual awakening, and I cried for the first time in rehab in my life. Since my father used to beat me and say, "I'll give you something to cry about, you cunt."
Yeah.
And so I stopped crying. At 19, my mum died. I hadn't used heroin at this stage. I was a criminal before I was a junkie. I was born into a criminal family. I shot my first man before I ever took a drug. Before I even drank, I shot my first man. So I remember being at my mum's funeral in 1973, standing there. Everyone was crying, and I couldn't cry. And I was trying to force myself to cry. So I was thinking, oh, they all think I'm fucked. They all think, and I hadn't even shot up heroin at that stage. I'd taken drugs and I drank alcohol, but I hadn't started on the heroin at that stage. I started a few months after Mum died. Then in rehab, it's really funny. Yeah, stories have got so many parallels. I got a mate called Darbs. He's a well-known old crook. He turned up at the rehab when I was there, and I'd been there. I was bailed there. I'd been there for about 8 months, and he said to me, "Mate, I'm wanted for 2 fucking murders." He said, I knew you were here, so I thought I'd come here because I was his mate. He said, "I don't know what to do. I'm shitting myself." He said, fucking blah, blah, blah. I cut a long story short. I said, just stay here. Well, 3 days into it, the madness is coming. He said, I'm out of here. I'd rather go back to the Nick than being this kind of a joint. He said, everyone's telling on each other. It's all full of fucking dogs, And I'm saying, well, but I'm walking down to the gate with him, and everyone's trying to stop him, because I was up at Goulburn and they're the Who's. They're all saying, mate, don't go, don't go. They didn't know the full story. And I knew where he was going. I knew he was going back out there, and Roger Rogerson was out there waiting for him, and another bloke, I can say that, the story everyone knows about, they pinched up over a couple of bad murders, a double murder. And I started crying. And I couldn't stop myself. I started sobbing. That's why I just related so much. And it wasn't for me, because I knew where he was going back to. And it was like my heart was going out with him. I knew where he was going. I knew exactly where he was going. I went to Who's because Roger Rogerson had just knocked Warren Lee Frenchie, who was a mate of mine. And he was looking for me. And I got pissed and went to the jail. And I got bail to go to the rehab because I didn't want to go back to the street. Because that dirty, rotten scumbag fucking Rogerson had just knocked Frenchie. And Frenchie had been at my house a few days before telling me, I'm going to knock that fucking dog Smith because he's cutting me gear, because Frenchie was selling gear to Smith. And I said, mate, don't tell anybody. Just go and do it. Exactly. Just don't even tell me.
Yeah.
I said, please don't tell me. I said, I hope you're not telling anybody else. I said, just go and do whatever you've got to do. And the funny part is, Frenchie and I were mates. We met in jail. Frenchie wasn't a junkie. He never used his life. We trained together. Well, he knew me as Ron from the Nick. Well, when Ron the junkie gets out and Frenchie's giving me gear, I'm fucking smashing it away, and he turns up for the money. It's short. He's like, mate, I've just given you half an ounce of heroin 3 days ago. Where's the money? And I'm like, oh, mate, I'll fix it up tomorrow, get another half. He didn't know. He said, where the fuck's Ron? Where's me mate? He said, who the fuck are you? And he said, I'm going to have to put one in here, just in your leg or something, because you're making a cunt of me.
Yeah.
He said, you just can't keep robbing me every week, Ronnie. Because he didn't know what an addict was, Frenchie.
Yeah.
He didn't understand the addiction. He didn't understand any of that stuff. And I had all the intentions, give me another halfer, and I'll sell them all. And I'd go to the Coogee Bay and I'd start selling to a few, and then it'd be like banging them all away. And he'd turn up, and mate, I never weighed in once. In retrospect, I got pinched and I went back to the Nick just when he got knocked, and thinking, fuck, I'd have to pay him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What a horrible place. That's where we go to in our active addiction. I loved the guy, and we're mates, but when it came to the gear was my mate. And when it came to Ma and Pa and settling, I was glad that was over. But that's not who I am today, but that's who I was. It's fucking sad, isn't it? That's why I love it when you said, you looked around the jail, and that's what happened to me. I looked around and I thought, I'm so much better than this.
Yeah.
I deserve so much more. I'm a street kid from Fitzroy. Yeah. I grew up as a criminal. I grew up with nothing. I grew up stealing everything. My old man was a piece of shit. My old man was a fucking piece of shit. Even though, he's a gangster and everyone talks about him, and they stopped doing it over the last 30, 40 years, They'd go to me, my man's a good bloke, say he's a fucking piece of shit. He used to beat my mother up. He's a fucking kid fucker, and I'd bag him. And they'd go like, oh, I wish I'd have said nothing about his dad now, They stopped saying how good of a bloke your old man was when you get to a stage where you can stand up and go, no, he's not a good bloke,
Yeah.
But, that was, for me, there was an awakening where I realised I deserved more to myself. It wasn't because I wanted to be a good human being. I didn't even know what a good human being was, Dean. But I wanted to be good to me because I felt like what you said, I just didn't feel worthy.
Yeah.
I just, a girl would say she loved me and I'd cringe.
Yeah.
I'd think, you don't know who I am. Yeah. And the sad part was if a girl said she loved me, I'd use that against them and be like, okay, now I can do anything I want. Thank you. You've just given me permission now to do whatever I choose. Yeah. Because I was so emotionally detached from reality.
Yeah.
And that's the gift of recovery.
And a lot of that stuff does come back from our childhood, I think.
Yeah, mate.
Like getting brought up in environments where your parents were completely unaware emotionally of how to support us, and they too had their parents and they too had their experiences in life.
Yeah, mate.
And it's not a blame, but at the end of the day, that maybe they didn't have the courage, maybe they didn't see what they're doing, or maybe they did see it and they couldn't change it.
Yeah.
But one of the greatest things that we've been delivered is that we have done something about that bloodline, and it will be different from here on.
Yep.
And that's also the beauty of having the passion and the motivation to keep going with recovery. Indirectly, you help your family. Indirectly, you help your children. Indirectly, you help everybody around you by your change. And that is worth so much. If you really, really cherish your loved ones and you're going through recovery, you keep that, what I just said, at the forefront of your effort to keep going in recovery. If you're not going to do it for you, you do it for them, because it will make them have a better life from your change.
Yeah, 100%, mate. People say to me, you can't get clean for somebody else. Yes, you can.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you can. I've got 39-year-old twin daughters.
That's
I met
right.
their mother in rehab. That time I went to rehab.
Yeah.
They're 39-year-old. They're 40 this year. When I relapsed in 85, I came back and I've stayed clean ever since for those kids. When I didn't love me, I loved them. And I didn't want them to have my life.
There you go.
My kids went through private schools. They've had a good education. One's a nurse, runs a drug fucking detox unit. She's the head nurse in the drug rehab. The other one's a nanny. She's got a clearance to do judges and lawyers' kids. They're my kids. They've got the highest clearance she can have.
Yeah.
To look after judges' children. She's got her own personal nanny service in Sydney, where she looks, and the other one's got the rehab up here in Queensland. And that's all.
Imagine if they experienced your father.
Yeah.
In the bloodline.
Exactly.
Think about that.
I believe that was my job.
Imagine if they experienced the bloodline prior to you.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee you they wouldn't be doing what they're doing.
They'd be using addicts. You have to use to survive.
But that's one of the other issues too, Ronnie. A lot of addicts don't want to understand that their parents have been responsible for it.
Yes.
There's this honour, and they feel bad about going there and going, I can't blame my parents. I can't blame people in my past because it's disrespectful. Well, you need to realise this. It's not about blame. It's about awareness.
About responsibility.
It's not about blame.
Taking
It's about
responsibility.
awareness. It's about awareness. And if you don't go there and pull that apart, you won't come out of it.
Yeah, 100%, mate. That's why we, in the 12-step programs, they have the 4th step.
Exactly.
I've written my life story. And, my books, your book's the same probably. My book's like a life story.
Of course it is.
My book's just another 4th step.
Yeah.
In some ways,
Yeah.
My book stopped. I got pinched in 2002, I got pinched. And my book finishes there. Because I was always scared of the Proceeds of Crimes Act if they try to take the money off me for the book. That's why I guess I've always held it. Now I've got to rewrite from 2022 when I got sentenced to 18 years up till now. So I've got another 20 years to write, which that'll be easy to write because you live it. It's easy to write. It's just, I don't fabricate a lot of stuff. I'll leave some people's names out and change things around. But yeah, that was very freeing for me. That book was really freeing for me. I wrote it while I was in jail. I went and did a writer's course, and I wrote it while I was in jail. And it was my way of expressing myself again. Because I was 16 years clean when I went back to jail.
Yeah.
It was horrific going back to 16 years clean when everyone in there is fucking on Subutex, so I don't even know even how to say it. And they got 2 tablets and they run around like Don Corleone's. And I just got 18 years. They're running around like kings with fucking 2 pills worth $6 each or something, thinking they're drug dealers and drug smugglers. And
isn't it interesting from the point of view that we try to find we fall into that lifestyle with an identity also?
Yes.
Where because we can't get out of it, we want to portray something in there. We want to bridge up in there. We want to be tough in there. We want to show people that We're more full on. We want to, the identity, that's what I found really interesting in my recovery. The identity that I created to be something in that world. And sure, it got me something in that world, but there was a limitation on that identity. And that limitation on that identity got me to a point where it's like, going through jail. There's always the tough guys and there's always the guys that are full on when you live in the criminal world. But that changes. There's always a group coming through that will overtake them.
Yep.
There's always a new group that will come through
more willing,
that will rock them and take control of things and be more tougher and act in ways where they'll start stabbing them, or they'll start shooting, or they'll be more full on. So the identity that we create in those environments and in that lifestyle, there's a time scale on it, and it's limited. The identity that you can create out here is infinite.
Yes.
There's no time scale on that identity. So if you want to think of that identity as something that you want to be something in, I'm here to tell you there's another identity that can be a lot more safer for you, can be a lot more long-term beneficial to you and other people, and it can be more worthy.
Yeah.
And that's living out of that lifestyle. Yeah. But it takes courage, or it takes a moment, as you were talking about, Ron, and what I experienced, or maybe it's a moment somebody might listen to this and they go, wow.
Yep.
I've got a light bulb moment here. Maybe somebody will read my book, because in my book I talk about all this stuff, Ron.
Yeah, mate, I'm hanging to read it. I'll chase up, as soon as we get off the thing, I'm going to chase it up today.
It's a mad book.
Yeah, mate. And I know that I'm going to read it, I'm going to relate to it, and I'm going to go, yeah, fucking yeah. And what's going to give me is going to give me an understanding of myself.
Yeah.
And I was in 1981, I was in that rehab, and I told this story a little bit, and it's a little bit embarrassing, but it's the truth. I'm not going to tell the truth. That's why my company's called The Truth About Addiction. You know what my book's called? The Truth About Nothing. That's what I wrote that in 2002, The Truth About Nothing. That's my book. Yeah. Because it's nothing. Yeah. It's just my life. It's nothing. It's my life. Yeah. To me, it's everything, but to the world, it was nothing. Yeah. So, but yeah, this old lady come to visit her grandson, great-grandson, her grandson. It's about 93. I'm in rehab. I've got no visitors, same as when I was in jail. I never had family or visits come, blah, blah, blah. And they've called me over for lunch. They feel sorry for me. I'm wearing someone else's clothes. I'm kicking it. I'm cruising. I'm a big shot. And I sat down. And I still get embarrassed. And I said to her, "What do you do for fun, darling? You don't speak to a 90-year-old woman like that when you're a 27-year-old boy." I said, "What do you do for fun, darling?" And she looked at me square in the eye and she said, "Sweetheart," she said, "if I learn something every day," she said, "I've had a bloody good day." And I didn't get it. It took me 20 years to get what she meant. Yeah. What do you do for fun, darling? Cheeky little prick. And she goes, "Sweetheart, if I learn something every day, I've had a very good day." And now today I'm the same.
Well, that's the other thing, the pool of information that's available when you break through what you're familiar with, what you can get when you go out of a lifestyle that you're not happy with, what you can do when you're looking to a better place in your life that you want to achieve or you want to aspire to. The information that is around for you to get and you to learn about yourself on a day-to-day basis is phenomenal. And I take that learning back to myself personally. How do I cope in this situation? How do I manage this? How did I react in that situation? Yep. Was I out of line today? Was I good today? Was I more confident today? Why wasn't I more confident? What do I need to improve on myself? What have I listened to today that's inspired me? What am I going to do to have I done enough today to get me to that goal or wherever I want to go to break out wherever I am? Have I put in enough effort? Have I been focused on achieving that? So the information that's there for everybody to grab onto about improving oneself is phenomenal, and it is so rewarding when you grow every single day by looking at yourself. And it doesn't matter if it's your age, it doesn't matter if it's my age, it doesn't matter if you're a kid, it doesn't matter where you are in life. You should be learning to the day you die to improve yourself.
Yes.
Every single day.
Yep.
And the best place to start is yourself
100%.
in every given situation.
No one
I've
else
done
can do
that.
it.
I did it when I got out of rehab, when I took accountability and responsibility for my thoughts, my behaviours, for my actions, and I did it, and I mastered to be a great salesperson. I made so much money being a very good salesperson because I didn't blame everybody for the reason why I wasn't getting sales. I developed myself because I kept looking at myself. I did it in running companies. I become so rich from it. I did it in building property portfolios. I did it in writing books. I did it in parenting. I did it in friendships. I did it in the stuff that I'm doing today. I'm creating a wealth creation program for coaching people on steps by steps how to build wealth in one's life. Very simple stuff, very practical stuff. But it's about that accountability. And the more accountable I believe we are, the more we can attain. Your dreams are only an extension of that.
Yeah.
If you want to create things, it starts with the stuff I'm talking about personally. You look at yourself all the time, and then your creations will automatically manifest.
Yeah. I'm 100% with you. You know, I'm I'm a very happy camper. You know, everything. I dreamt, about being successful. I dreamt about, I laid in cells.
A lot of power in it.
I dreamt about, having a good life. I dreamt about,
But you've done the work, Ron.
Exactly. You've got to do the work, mate. No one drops off to you. No one drops off.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
I still work every day.
You got to do the work. In recovery, you got to do the work. You have to do the work. And if you don't do the work on yourself, and if you don't push yourself, Ronnie, tell us what happens.
You get fuck all. You get fuck all.
As
I say, in giving we receive.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, I said it to my son. I got a son who's he's on the wrong path.
Yeah.
He's been a goose. He's 28. He's been a goose. And anyway, he contacted me. I think he might have been on it. And he's had a go at me and it's about, you're not a good dad. And I said, listen, mate, in giving we receive.
Exactly.
And you give fucking nothing.
That's right.
And he hadn't spoken for 2 years. I said, and you give fucking nothing.
Well, you've done your best with what you've had.
Yeah. Oh, that boy, I don't, he's my boy, but I don't know him. I didn't bring him up. His mum fell pregnant to me and she ran away. And then he came back into my life at 20 years of age. But I didn't bring him up. He hasn't got my principles. He hasn't got my work ethics. He hasn't got any of that.
He's a big boy now, Ron. He makes his own calls now, like you.
Yeah.
You look how you got brought up.
Yeah.
You took stock of yourself.
Yeah, but I don't mean to be awful. I've also got a 7-year-old son. I've got a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. I adore them and I love them. All my kids love me and all my kids adore me and all my kids respect me. My wife's not afraid of me. My children aren't afraid of me. Where in my house, mate, you lived in fear. When you hear the car pull up, you'd be like, "Oh, who the fuck? Who's coming in the door? Is it the monster or is it my dad?"
Yeah.
And you couldn't tell because 1 minute he could be your dad, then he'd be the monster.
Exactly.
And then he'd be beating me, and then he'd be beating my mother, and fucking, I've got a story. It's a fucking bad story, but I was about 14. It was in 1971, so I don't know, it was before that. I was about 15, 16. And a friend of mine came to the house, and I went down to get changed. Next thing I hear, my old man blowing up, screaming. My old man sitting on there with a fucking chair. He's got blood coming out of his head everywhere. He's another 15-year-old kid. I run up there, and the old man's like, "You can bash this cunt. He was just disrespectful to me." And I'm like, "What's going on?" He said, "No, you just bash this fucking cunt." So I take my mate outside. I go, "What the fuck's going on?" He said, "My old man had just bought a new Valiant." It was 1969 it was. He's bought a new Valiant VIP V8 Valiant. Well, my mate's little
The old
brother,
VCs.
the VE, after the
VE.
VC, the VE, yeah, the VIP, the first of the VIP, V8.
Yeah, the V8, the 273.
That's it. And my man had just bought a brand new one of those. See, by this time he's earning.
What was
money.
it, a 318?
No, 273. That 318 came out the VF. So I said, what'd you say to my old man to make him bash it? I told him my brother's car was, his brother had a Phase 3 Falcon. So, you know, he said, I told him my brother's car was faster than his. So my old man belted him. My old man belted him Phase 2. He had a GT 1971. So my old man's hit him on the head with a chair for being disrespectful. That's the madness of my home.
Oh, yeah.
That was the madness of my home. And this kid's got his head split open because he said, my brother's car's really fast. It's the fastest four-door production car in Australia. You know, I mean, no, it's fucking not. And this kid, he doesn't know me old man. He goes, yes, it is. No, it's fucking not. Yes, it is. Don't fucking be disrespectful to me. Yeah. Don't tell me, you cheeky little cunt.
As you would have seen, I've seen people being murdered, actually, for people alleging that they had done something and they hadn't.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a couple that comes to mind, and one you would know very well that happened in Parramatta Jail for a kid in there doing fines. I say no more.
Yeah, yeah.
Know him?
Yeah, yeah.
You know the kid I'm talking about?
I do, mate. I do. Yeah.
Okay. So I've seen people get stabbed because they've said they haven't liked the look of somebody.
Yep.
I've seen people get their throat cut because somebody said that they took 2 packets of White Ox when they should have only taken 1.
Yeah, yeah.
The disregard of life and violence that we've experienced is full on. Full on. And you've got to live that. You've got to live that with people that have been so volatile. And, you know, no wonder why we get emotionally scarred from living around people so volatile and potentially could take our lives or physically maim us. I remember one bloke in Bogger Road, I won't mention his name, but he was from the western suburbs. And he used to knock around, I'll just say one of the blokes' last name, Paulie, right?
Yep.
He used to knock around him.
Yeah.
And he's dead now, the bloke. I seen him bat a bloke with a wooden squash bat because he was drunk and the bloke accidentally bumped him walking out of a cell. Yeah. And when I say attacked him, he left, when he was hitting him with the squash bat, blood was just squirting all over me and another bloke that was observing it. Yeah. I had blood spatter all over my face, and that happened within a 30-second period. The damage he done on that person within 30 seconds, that bloke was in a coma. He survived it, but he ended up a vegetable.
Yeah. Same.
But when you see that shit and when you live that shit, that has such an impact on you regarding survival and fear that it takes years to overcome it.
Yep. And that's why, you know, we are the blessed ones, because you know what? A lot of people don't overcome it, mate. And if I hadn't found recovery, I don't believe I'd be alive today.
No,
not for 1 second. I don't believe I'd be alive. I'd be dead, or I'd be doing the lot. Because that's how you had to do that to survive, you know. And I know for a fact, you know, you did some time up here in Queensland, and the time you were in there was a fucking pretty nasty little gang running around just knocking people. And some of the stories I've been told by the guys who are actually part of it said to me, one bloke walked in the cell with a limp, and one of the blokes said, look at that gimp, you should knock that cunt. And one of them, you know, like the old days, you won't, you weak cunt. So they went and hung him.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he had a limp.
Yeah.
He had a limp. Yeah. That's why they knocked him. But he had a limp.
But then again, on the other side, I remember once there was a group of people that were going to escape from Tujar, and there was a story about the MEU going into which was the Metropolitan Emergency Unit, going into blokes' cells at night and giving them a kicking because they didn't like them. So this group of people were planning to escape and to get out of D-Wing, right? So the MEU, they found out about this escape and they opened this bloke's cell door at 1 o'clock in the morning. And the bloke was from Melbourne, and he was a funny bastard. He turned Christian, and I remember I got a heap of heroin in the jail off a visit, and he come up to me and he said, "Blue, do you think you could find it in your heart for a shot for me, you know?" And I said, listen, Fox. I said, what about the rooster? I said, you're a changed man now. He looked up at the sky and he went, he'll forgive me, Blue. He'll forgive me, Blue. And anyway, I gave him a shot because he used to make me laugh. So they've got into his cell at 1 o'clock in the morning. They said, listen, fucking Daniels, fucking, who's involved in this fucking escape out of here? He said, how the fuck do I know who's fucking involved in it? He said, I'm a holy man. He said, fucking holy fucking shit, they said. They said, fucking get on your fucking knees. He said, I'll fucking die on me feet. The screw, he had a Roscoe, right? He had a 38, snub nose. And he said, I fucking told you to get on your fucking knees, Daniels. And he said, you fucking shoot me on me feet, dog. And the screw said, I'll fucking shoot you in the foot. And he said, well, fucking shoot me in the foot. And he went, bang. He shot him straight in the foot, right? Well, fucking, they carried him out. And he was in the surgery for a while. And he's come back in the yard and he went, that fucking dog fucking shooting me in my foot. At least I didn't go down on me fucking knees. I said, yeah, I know, fucking, you're a staunch fucking bloke from Melbourne, Fox. I said, I got a lot of respect for you. He said, yeah, but fucking he didn't, Blue. I said, well, it's the screws, mate. And that's what I was going. That's my point of reference. The screws were wild, mate. You know,
yes, mate.
They were mean. Like some of the bashings I got. So some of the incidents I could talk about the riots in there, mate, through the 80s. Like I was involved in them in F-wing and D-wing. I was involved with them on the other side. Some of the treatment, but you know, we might leave that to another day.
Yeah, we did another day. Yeah,
but it was full on through that period, through the road, through Bogger Road. Yeah. That period through the 80s, mate, we didn't take a fucking backward step in there. Yeah. We created that commission, mate, that Royal Commission in the prisons. Yeah. We were the ones that changed the system. Yeah. They built more jails because of our jacking up and because of the riots and because of the conditions. We got so many things changed. Yeah, we got things changed with buy-ups. We got things changed, you know, no more shit tubs, running water. You know, like we were trailblazers through that time. All the crims that was in jail through the 80s.
You were there with my mate, Sonny.
Yeah, Sonny. Well, me and Sonny were good mates.
Yeah, yeah.
As I said, when you
I'm going to ring him today and tell him
fucking Blue said hello. He loved me.
Yeah,
I did a run from Cairns to the Gold Coast in the last lagging that I did. And they called it the Cops and Robbers Great Chase. Mm. And it was 10 crims and 10 coppers running from Cairns to the Gold Coast to raise money for police youth boys clubs.
Yep.
And Sonny had just got out on that pitch with the pinch he was pinched on. He just got out on sausage roll on parole for that, and he was back up north. And I said to him, I said, mate, we're going to do that run through your town, you know. He said, oh fuck, Blue. He said, make sure you call me, and he gave me a landline number. And when I got to the town, I called him, and he come over and he met us at a pub. and we got on the drink, and he gave me a bit of pot. He's a nice fella, eh?
Yeah, mate, heart of gold.
He jacked up a lot. He was a trailblazer with us all.
Yeah.
We did a lot of hard work through there for that system.
Well, that's how I got onto Garney. Him and Garney. So there's exactly the same position you're talking about. Garney, Sonny, yourself. It was the same time you all got together and it was all blowing up. Then when I went to the system in 2002, Garney said straight away, I got a message from Sonny. He said, Sonny said, you're his fucking brother, his big brother. He said, you're now my brother. Yeah, mate. That's exactly what he said to me, Garney. He said, you're Sonny's brother. You're now my brother. He said, you'll have no trouble in here now, brother. Yeah, and with Garney
wasn't he a good staunch bloke, Garney?
Yeah, mate. To me, he was a gentleman,
hard, mate. Yeah. What a good fighter.
Even at his age, he'd gone, mate. He was gone, you know. Old age catch up to all. He'd still punch on with anybody.
I seen him and his brother Darren bash a screw at Woodford, and I've never seen poetry in motion, how he threw his hands like it.
Yeah.
It was worthy. It was worthy as watching a fighter at Mandalay Bay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And he dropped him. He dropped this screw with a combination that was so gracefully delivered. And the screw went onto his fours, right, out the front of the gym at Woodford. And the screws was on his fours after he's getting up. And he kicked him that hard in the head. The screw went from his fours on his back like Louis the fucking Fly. With his fucking hands in the air and his feet.
Yeah,
and Garney walked up. I was in the butcher shop and I was there having a smoke. Yeah. And I said, fuck, and that was pretty to watch. He said, if they have a go at you, Blue, he said, you just fucking belt them.
Yeah, no, he didn't give a fuck,
and me and him, fucking, I used to play Sale of the Century with him.
Yeah.
We used to set up the boxes and we had these little, like, cups and we'd go, like the fucking, you know, Sale of the Century.
The buzzer,
and they'd say, and Tony Barber, he'd be there fucking giving the question and I'd be going like that. And he'd go, fuck off, Blue. Fucking, I got to that. I said, my hand's on it fucking first, go. He said, go on, you little weight cut. Go on.
Yeah, he's a funny man, mate.
Top bloke.
I had a lot of time for him, mate. As I said, he passed away a couple of years ago now. And, the system's changed, mate. The system's changed. But the best thing that's changed is us. You know, when we talk about stuff like this, and I was just having flashbacks to to Balmain, and we were talking about someone that we both know. You know, I was in jail with his brother, and you ran with him. You know, just stuff like that. We were kids. Even though I was
different.
You know, I was the age before you. You know, but we still walked down Darling Street. We still fucking, we still hung around the wharfs. We still went down to fucking Piermont and fucking stole shit down there, and we still got onto the boats, and the merchant steamer would come in and be on the boat ramp and their fucking boats going through their fucking little Peterson if we could steal some money off them, and we're just little bastards.
Well, those boats, I remember as a kid when I was a paper boy at Piermont, I used to go down to the Navy barracks and sell the papers in the afternoon when all the blokes used to knock off.
Yeah.
And then if I didn't get rid of the papers there, I would go down to 13 and if I could, I'd go onto a boat.
Yeah.
And I remember this time I got the papers out the barra and I went up the gangplank on the big boat and I've gone on there and I knew where to go. I had to go into the gallery where they used to get on the piss and eat food and watch the TV, right? And I'd be saying to whatever nationality they were, fucking Dapto Dogs or Irish or fucking Scots. Yeah. I'd go, where's the food, mate? Where are the gallery? Oh, through there. And this one day, I've gone in there, and it was an Italian ship, right? And what I used to do, I used to inflate the prices of the papers if they were wogs and that, because they didn't know.
Couldn't read it.
So I've gone into the gallery, right? And all the wogs are there, fucking drinking ouzo, friggin' got the wog, all the beads and that, playing bloody drafts and chess and got their shirts off and got their hankies on.
Yeah, the 4 knots.
The 4 knots.
The 4 knots, yeah.
Right, they're all sitting there, and I'm going, fuck, and I walked in, they all looked at me. I said, fucking, which one of you wants the paper? I said, I'm not here all day. Mm-hmm. And they kind of looked, and I said, come on, paper. I'd pull the paper and just give it to them, you know. And I walked around, I gave them about 10 papers, and they're all taking it, right? They're all taking the papers. And then I went, come on, money, whack up, right? And they go for the kick, you know. And they go, how much? And they go, 20 cents. I go, no, more. 30, more. 50. I got about 60 cents a paper off of this day, right? Anyway, one of them, as I'm walking out, one of them's looked at the price on the telly. It was only 15 cents.
Yeah, right.
They fucking chased me off the boat. I got away. I ran up Harris Street. Yeah. Oh, mate. But shit like that, you know, funny times.
Yeah, mate, that's funny. I got chased off the boat there. He got me. He caught me. I said, my heart. He let go of me and I got away again. I remember he had hold of me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've got a bad heart. And he shit himself. He let go of me and I took off again. Yeah. Oh, it's funny, mate.
Things you do.
The guy that I'm laughing about that I was with then, he hung himself. You know, that's what we always come back to. We got clean and they didn't. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just started thinking then, I just was like, well, okay, yeah. Look, it's been lovely talking, mate. I could talk to you for hours. Yeah. Honestly, I'd love to catch up one day and have a coffee. If you're up the Sunshine Coast, give me a call.
Yeah, all good, mate. No, that's sweet. And if anyone wants to look at that story that I wrote, it's all the W's, kinghitbook.com. And if you want to buy it, Ronnie, just go to that website and you can get it there, you know.
I'll do it today, mate. I'll do it now. You know, mate, pleasure having you, mate. We'll probably do this again, mate. We've got so much more ground to cover. Yeah. We've got so much more ground to cover, mate. Look, it's been lovely chatting to you. It's fucking, mate, it's like talking to an old mate. You know, and it is. It's just like talking to an old mate. It's so easy. And you know why? Because it's real.
It is.
And that's what recovery is to me. Recovery is real. You know, and I say to people, you know, you want to be a gangster, put food on the table. Bring your kids up. Bring your kids up.
Exactly.
You know, don't impress me with your fucking talking at the side of your mouth. And, you know, that's not impressive. You know, I'm embarrassed with all the jail I've done.
Exactly.
You know, I am. I'm embarrassed with all the prison I've done.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, but the reality is, mate, today we're good people having a good go. You know, we're trying to do the best thing. As you said before, the ripple effect is incredible.
Oh, it is. It is.
But me being clean, my kids are.
Yeah, if you really want value in your life, and if you want to be something, go down this road.
Exactly, mate.
It's a much more rewarding road for you and other people around you. And Ron, there's so much information we've given in this podcast. There's really the only excuse somebody's got is their willingness not to do something about themselves.
They don't have a desire,
or the timing's not right.
Yeah.
But if the timing becomes right, just take responsibility for it and do something with it and run with it and stay truthful. Because the more truthful you can be and the more less lying you are, the more you get better. You're only as honest as your secrets. People go on about honesty a lot, but honesty is about your truth, and it's in your truth and expression of your truth. Be that you don't like yourself, be that you don't like what you're doing, be that you don't like what you've done in the past, be that whatever it is. But if you get in touch with that truth with somebody, you can hopefully start the road out.
Yeah, 100%. Well said, mate. Well said, you know. And as I said, you know, my company's called The Truth About Addiction for that reason.
There it is.
Because I always say the truth will set you free.
Yeah, it does.
Because once you've told the truth to yourself, once you've told the truth to yourself, mate, it doesn't matter what other people think. As long as it's what you think about yourself, is what matters, not what other people think about you, know. And plus, I think you get to a certain part of your life where you realise that the lie is what we lived. The truth is what we're doing today. You know, the truth is today, I'm a good dad, I'm a good friend, I'm loyal.
Exactly.
I can make arrangements to be on time. I'm punctual. I'm honest.
Yes.
I'm open-minded. If you tell me, "Oh, Ron, that's not right," I don't have to say yes, it isn't. I can say, "Well, wait a minute, let me have a think about that. Let me have a look at that. Maybe
Yeah.
it's not right." I'm open to
Yeah.
suggestions. I accept stuff. I'm really reliable. I'm consistent. So I live by 8 demands: openness, acceptance, reliability, congruence, thoroughness, consistency, respect, and honesty. They're my 8 demands. I work on
Yeah.
those. Now I've just introduced them to the Brisbane Broncos. They asked me, can we bring them into training in the off season next year? So I'll go there and teach them the demands. And to me, that's integrity.
Oh,
Those 8
100%.
demands is integrity, and with integrity, you can do anything.
100%.
Integrity is the most important thing in my life. And integrity is what I do behind the scene, not what I do out front of the scenes.
Exactly.
You know, that's what integrity is. People go, "What's the difference between integrity?" I said, "The stuff I do that I don't tell you about, that's integrity." When I'm driving down the road and I've got an ice pole stick in my hand, I go to throw it out the window. No one's there, and I go, "Nah." I put it in the car. That's integrity.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it.
That's simple.
It is.
That's simple. I said, my whole recovery process is simple. You know.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so true what you just said. It's when people, mate, it's true. And I've done that without thinking of it as integrity.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take that away today from you as that is integrity. I've done all those things that you just said when people haven't been looking. And that's made the difference.
That's it, mate. And that is what makes a difference. What people don't know is what makes a difference, you know. So thanks, Dino, for coming on. Anyone that's interested in recovery, you know, you can contact me through The Truth About Addiction. Grab Dean's book, King Hit. It'll be a good. I look forward to having a read of it. And, mate, it's been a pleasure, you know, it really has.
I solemnly swear that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.